Yo, welcome back. So, continuing from where we stopped, we're going to be talking about graphic design jargon. Like I said before in the last video, terms that only designers can understand. Do you want to know those terms? Alright, let's go into them. First things first, widows are not fans. Widows are not fans is term in graphic design. And this one is used to describe an item, especially a text that is isolated. Like you can see in this text. This occurs when just one text is placed in an isolated line. You can see. So this text, this last one here, I even circle it there. Why will it be on that line? Like, it does make it lonely, you made it a widow, you made it an orphan, it's just there. You understand? So you want to make sure that all your text is either it's 2 lines like this, or even you are doing it 3 lines, it is more than a text. Don't make sure that you don't have only one text placed on a line, as that makes it a widow and orphan and makes your design not exactly professional. Do you get that now? It's also because there's no balance, right? Because how will you have plenty text at the first and second, and then this third one is only one? It's not balanced. Remember, I'm talking about balance and principles, right? So make sure that you don't have widows and orphans in your design. Save the widows and orphans today. Okay. So the next one is talking about kerning. Now, kerning it happens in design when one or more letters are modified to look different from the rest. They are modified to look different from the rest. We are going to be doing kerning in design. There's this effect, right? When we enter the graphic design tips and tricks, there's this effect on Canva called, I say, the text marks. Now you can kern your text, but then that's for later. But right now, you can look at this stuff right here. There's no kerning. You see the A, you see the V, there's the space. But when kerning came, when they kerned the text, you understand, you can see that this A and V now, they were brought together, they were brought closer. So the top of this place of the V is also aligned with the foot of the A. That's what kerning is. And kerning is also used by logos. When you're doing a logo design, sometimes the name of the brand is, let's say, for example, space. Let's just use space, for example. So you're not going to write space. And you can use an element to project that. But if you want to use the text now, there's a way you have to kern the text. The S is going to link with this P. So just make the space look like literal space. You understand? So that's what kerning is. So when you see this text is unusual, just know that it's a kerned text. So moving on, mock-up. Now mock-up is a visual representation or prototype of a design. You understand? So when you see a design represented in real life format, call it mock-up. For example, this jacket now, you can see my logo placed on it. So that's a mock-up. You understand? So most times when you are doing a design, especially a logo design, right, you want to use your mock-ups to show that, okay, this logo can be used in real life experiences. You're doing for a barber, for a hairdress, for a barber shop, for example. Now you want to make sure that logo now is placed on the wall. There are many mock-ups you can get. It's placed on the wall of a salon. You want to make sure it's placed on their, the stuff they wear when they're about to barb people's hair. Just want to make sure that it's everywhere and they can just see it and then picture it that, okay, this stuff can actually happen in reality. That's why they go with that logo. That's why they can buy the idea. So that's what mock-up is. Grid lines, I believe you heard of grid lines before. If you have not, grid lines are those physical systems and redundant systems that are used to arrange your designs. Let me show you an example of a grid in Canva. Right? If you move this, you see these lines that are showing up and down. Those are grids. They are trying to show you how to align the design, in the right manner. You understand? So those are what grids are. Then we have opacity. I'm supposed to put stuff here, right? But then opacity is just I want to communicate what opacity is. It's the level of transparency in an image. Opacity just means transparency. I believe you know what transparency is. If you go to this is what transparency is on Canva right here. So if you drink it like this, that's what just use another name. Opacity is transparency. RGB, when you hear of RGB in graphic design, it means red, green, and blue. So there are colors. There are 2 types of color styles, especially when using a laptop to design. You have the CMYK. As we talk about, this is CMYK here. It means cyan, magenta, yellow, and key. Key means black, and then the RGB, it just means red, green, and blue. So that's the format that the design was created in. Right? We'll just give 2 birds with 1 stone. Moving on. Bleed. So I said it before, when I say bleed that image, what do I mean? Bleed means extending the image or color beyond the edge. So you see, this has been bleed. I've bled this stuff, but when you see it, it's within the boundaries of the design, like this. But this is not bleeded. I've not bled the element, you understand? So that's what bleed does simply means. You take it beyond the boundaries of the design. So moving on, we have raster. Raster are image composed of pixels, whereas enlarging can result in a loss of quality. Right? Almost all the stuff you are going to save from Canva they are going to be in a raster format, right? Meaning when you enlarge and save it like that, it's going to reduce loss in quality. But then we have vectors that even when you increase them, when you zoom in, you're not going to lose the quality because the quality is going to be 100% okay. They say vectors are created with mathematical equations. I believe that maybe that's why they don't get diminished. And then we have PNG. I believe you are going to be hearing PNG. PNG simply means no background. When the image does not have any background, you call it a PNG. And what PNG actually means is portable network graphic. Right, so a lossless raster. I don't want to dive into that, but then that's what it's, and it is denoted by when you want to download it online, you are going to see this ... It means there's no background. So in some cases, you will download it and you see this ... as the background. It means that you know create it properly. So you have to remove the background using the background remover presence of Canva. If you're using the Pro, right? If you're not using the Pro, you have to go to sites such as remove.bg, erase background, so in order to remove the background. But I advise you to upgrade to the Pro because you cannot enjoy the full experience of Canva if you're not using the Pro. I think I'll leave a link here to reach out to me on how to get the Pro for yourself because I can show you how to get it, using Canva for Teams, but it's not going to be free though. It's just going to be for like let's say 2,000 naira. So you can just get the Canva Pro for it. So those are serious though, right? If you don't want to pay to use it, you can just keep on using the free versions if that's what you can use now. But for those that are willing to learn how to use the Pro version, because if you continue, you can use the Pro, you cannot really get the maximum. You cannot even get the best out of Canva. I believe if you want to get it, because most of the things I'm going to be teaching, you're going to be using the Pro elements. Even when I'm talking about using gradients, doing mock-up, creating text effect, animation, turning your text into image, all those stuff are Pro features. So if you don't have the Pro, how are you going to do that, right? So that's for PNG. Moving on, we have the JPEG. JPEG means Joint Photographic Experts Group, a logic compression of that. Okay, JPEG are just normal pictures, right? normal designs with in layman's language, normal designs with a background. Those are what JPEGs are. Do you get it? Okay, so then we have SVG. SVG is scalable vector graphics. Now these ones they are designs also, not really vectors, but this one, even when you scale them and you can see, I think that saving option is present on Canva. Right, when you scale those designs or those images after you have saved them in the SVG format, it's not going to diminish. Do you understand that? Yes, I think even at the SVG now, when you transfer it to someone else, the color can be changed because there are some elements now you import to Canva. You cannot change the color except you use effects. But those SVG, you can just normally change the color. Don't worry, if I'm speaking gibberish to you right now, you're not understanding. When we dive to the practical, you get better understanding of what I'm communicating. So the next one we have is MP4. MP4, I believe you know what MP4 is. We have MP3 is audio, MP4 is what video, and I can see this video right here. Right, I'm playing it, it's not playing. Okay, it's loading. So MP4, it means MPEG 14. See, okay, it's moving. So you have plenty MP4s in Canva. So when they say save it as MP4, what they mean is save it as a video. And then we have rivers and tears. So rivers and tears in graphic design is when there are many spaces, as I've said before. If you remember the knowledge from proximity, right? So you see this design right here. This is not proximal. They are not closely attached. So as they are not closely attached to each other, they cannot be clearly seen. They cannot be clearly read. Do you get that? So, and you can see that there's this line. I underline it with a blue line here. You see this line that are present in between the designs. They call them rivers. They call them tiers. So you want to make sure that your designs and your text in specific, I don't have rivers and they don't have what tiers. So next up, we're going to talk about graphic design rules. Do graphic design have rules? You're going to find out in the next video.